What's going on, y'all? It's your boy named Matthews from NeverDenyMe.com, back again with another segment from today's video. Right behind me we do have our new multi-needle embroidery machine, and I messed up already, guys. Not bad, not nothing drastic, you know what I'm saying? But I always like to do my first stitch out on camera. However, when I tried to actually install the software and things like that, I thought it wasn't working, so I did a little test and it worked great. So this is actually going to be our second stitch out. I will show you guys the very first patch that I made with the machine, and then we got to get to a whole bunch of client orders because I haven't even told anybody that I have this machine at this point that I'm recording this video. However, their orders are still piling up, so I'm trying to get something stitched out real quick, and then we're going to get to my customers, right? Check this out though. This machine came with a number of hoops. One of the hoops I'm going to show you is the one that we're going to do a test on today. This one, it just says size 1 in the back, if you guys can see it. It's kind of hard to see. It says size 1, made in England. Let's actually zoom in real quick because I want y'all to see it, right? Size 1, made in England, 90 millimeters. I do already have it hooped up. This is one of the, again, the standard hoop that came with the machine, but I wanted to make it a little easier to read, so I actually just made a little sticker, put it on the front there, and I'm going to be doing the same thing for the other ones as well. It's a lot easier for me to pick up the hoop and say, hey, this hoop is 3.5 inches versus 90 millimeters. Even though I'm good at math, I ain't got time to be doing all the calculations. So anyways, we're going to be using that, as well as I did make, again, some more little stickers here. I'll show you guys how I put those on, or maybe how I make them if you guys care. But we're going to be using that, right? These are the software cards that our machine came with. I got 2 of them. One is the operating system to actually like run your files, and actually, you know, if somebody sends you a file, you buy a file, anything you want to stitch, you got to load it through one of the things of software. And then this is another one that I ended up getting to create files from scratch. Now I've already have my own little way of creating files and things, so I'm going to use this for sure. Big facts, but not right now for my very first stitch out. I'm pretty sure these are both going to help me level up in a lot of ways, but for right now, I'm still using the original files that I've already created, and we're just going to see how it stitches out on this machine. One thing you guys may or may not already know about this machine is that this machine just runs off of this remote right here. You connect this whole machine to a computer via Ethernet cable, and then you just press the buttons and stuff like that. So that is why I have a computer sitting right here next to me. Thing is, I just told you guys, right, that you have to connect it via Ethernet. So this is what an Ethernet cord looks like for those of you who do not know. Something that you would connect, you know, a Wi-Fi to, your router, modem, whatever it is. This is the cord, right? A lot of computers these days, though, do not have a connection like this. Newer ones have connections for Wi-Fi. And of course, this one does have a connection for Wi-Fi as well. This is, I'm pretty sure you guys never heard of this computer, but it's not a computer review. But this is my computer that I'm going to be using to connect my embroidery machine. Now, this computer also has a base right here. But the reason I'm showing you guys this is because up close, there's, again, no ports, nowhere for me to connect this thing. So that is why we're going to need an adapter. Now, this adapter is just like any other adapter, right? It's got your USB 3.0s, your micro SD, and your regular standard SD card slot, micro USB, and then our spot for our Cat 6 or Cat 5, Cat E6, whatever different names for them. This plugs right in via USB. So we're going to plug this end into the back of our base here. It's like our keyboard part of it, right? And then I'm going to be setting this on top of our dock here to get it going. So I'm just going to go ahead and press the power button. And I do already have the software and everything loaded up on here, at least one of the softwares, the main one that we're going to use to actually load the file. But the one as far as creating files from scratch, I have not put that on here just yet. So again, just going to go ahead and power up. And once we get the computer booted up, it's just like any other Windows computer. So before I open the program that we do have installed right there, I'm going to go ahead and set it on the dock. That way we can read the other devices that we connected behind the machine. So I don't know if you guys heard it, but it did make our little noise there. Once it's setting on the dock, it is now reading the connections that we have plugged in behind the machine. And now we're ready to go ahead and power the machine on. There's just a little switch here in the back. Flip the switch. Once you turn on the power switch, your machine is just going to take a couple of moments to, get ready, just move itself into place, do a couple of blinks and make a couple of sounds and stuff like that. Once it does all that and this light on here turns green, we'll know that we can proceed to actually opening up the program so it can actually read the connection properly. You guys heard the beep? It didn't move that much, but it just made this little startup sounds. The light is now green right here. And now, just like any other file, we're going to load our design from a USB stick. Now again, this USB does not plug into the machine itself like my smaller device that I've been using. But since we're running everything off of this computer, this whole computer right here is a screen, so it's really no downside to it at all, right? So I'm going to go ahead and plug in our USB into the machine here. Computer's going to go ahead and load up my files just like it would any other device. Once we connected our USB, it popped up and I just saved it to my desktop as I would with any other file. Now that we're ready to go right there, I'm going to double tap on our operating system to load our Bravo software. First thing that pops up is it's going to ask you for the activation code. Now I showed you guys right here, I do have the full activation code. However, I actually installed it on my main computer. This is just something I'm doing for a video right now, so I'm not going to install it right here. However, if I did want the full version of either of these softwares, all I had to do was basically log out on my other device and I can get the full software over here. What I figured out though is you don't even need the full software to load it. But for those of you guys who may think, hey, I'm going to try to get it even if I don't have the machine, well, it only works if you have the machine and your machine is going to come with it. So there's no point in searching for a download online. So right now we're just going to be running the Bravo operating system in the light version. So I'm just going to hit the button right there in the corner and it's going to start loading up for us. When it first pops up, it's going to show up in the Bravo OS Lite software, and the last file that you attempted to stitch or actually did stitch is going to be the first one that loads up. I don't really know what this program does specifically compared to the one that I'm going to show you guys how I like to use. But what I do is as soon as a design loads up, I click here at the top where it says Tools and I click Restart in Bravo UI. It's going to shut it down and it's going to load it up in the way where I can actually see the machine and everything. And I'll show you guys as well a quick view on how we change the colors. Right now you've seen the question mark there. And then it disappeared because it actually did read the machine. It's actually reading the cable that we connected underneath. Right now it's also telling me, hey, we might need to do weekly maintenance, monthly maintenance. However, I did tell you guys that's how I accidentally ended up stitching something yesterday, because I already did the maintenance and I put the oil and I did everything with the machine. And then I just wanted to make sure it worked and I just stitched it and my battery died on the camera. So that's why I stitched out my first design off camera. So for now, we're going to be skipping those maintenance checks. But after this and after we start stitching things, we definitely need to make sure we do that to keep the machine running properly. So once we have the software loaded up, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and double tap our file. It's going to load in the machine. Right now we can see it on the hoop, but this is the larger hoop that I was using previously. So now we're going to switch it to the actual hoop that we're using. So as you can see here, we're going to be using a 3.5 inch hoop, 90 millimeters in a round hoop. So we'll set this down for a second and we're going to click the hoop right here on the side and we're going to find the one that we need. So we have, that's let's see, 3.5. Looks like it's this one right here. We'll double tap it and we can verify now that our design actually does fit into the hoop. So now we want to go ahead and adjust the colors on it because it loads as a default in gray. We'll click the icon over here and all of our design colors are gray. If you take a look at the bottom row, it does tell you what color each part of the design is supposed to be. So now this first one is telling us red, black, red, and white again. First thing we need to do though is actually set these colors. Easy way to do that, just go ahead and double tap on it and start lining it up. So as you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It starts in a pattern and we want to line these colors up in the same exact pattern that we have. With me knowing that this design only has 3 colors, I'm going to make it easy for you guys and I'm only going to set the 3 colors that we need. So we need black, white, and red. So that is 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to double tap on 1 and we're going to look at the cone of thread here and it tells us this is color 1801. So I type in 1801 and load that one on there. We're going to go to number 2 here. Number 2 tells us the color is 1747. So I double tap the cone, type in 1747, double tap, and we're going to load up the red there. Number 3 is the black, and that is color 1800. So we'll double tap number 3, type 1800 and tap it to load it on there. Then we'll go ahead and press OK. Now we can actually get it adjusted. So the first color is saying that we need red. So we're going to click and then we'll select red. We'll go to the next one and we're going to select black. Go to the next one, select white. Go to the next one, select black, then red, then white. However, I do want to mix it up a little bit and change the default design. Okay, so for this one where it says black, I'm going to make that red. And where this is red, I'm going to make that black. And where it is asking for this, let's make it, let's see how it will look in red. Like that, or should I make it white? Or black? I think black looks cool. So I'm going to keep this in and I'm going to hit the check mark here and set it so it looks like it's ready to go now.